Are you all happy today? Are you all ready for our today's class? Okay. Students, what did we learn in our previous class? Do you remember? In our previous class, we have learned a grammar portion, subordinating conjunctions, especially clause and its division, main clause, subordinate clause, and also about subordinating conjunctions. What is the role of this subordinating conjunction? Subordinating conjunctions are connecting the main clause with the subordinate clause. It is conjoining two clauses. Okay? And thus, with the help of these subordinating conjunctions, we can change a sentence, a simple or compound sentence into a complex sentence. So, subordinating conjunctions are used in complex sentences and it is joining clauses. And a sentence, a clause, there are two forms. What are they? Main clause and subordinate clause. Main clause, the subordinate clause always depends on the main clause. This is what we have seen in the previous class. In this class, let's learn a poem. Okay? And this poem was written by an Indian poet. Before we learn about the poem, let's see the idiom of the day. Okay? The idiom of today is, let the cat out of the bag. Most of you may heard about this idiom, let the cat out of the bag. Let the cat out of the bag. What does it mean? A cat was kept inside a basket or a bag and somebody is asking you to let it go out. Is it so? Okay. So, let the cat out of the bag is the idiom and its meaning is disclose a secret. We all will keep secret, right? So, disclose the secret. Reveal the secret. Okay. Do we say the secret to our close friends, to our dear friends? Sometimes. My dear friend, please don't say it to anybody. This is a secret. Am I right? We all will keep secrets. So here, let the cat out of the bag, which means please reveal the secret. Okay? Reveal it. Disclose the secret. Reveal it to others. That is, let the cat out of the bag. So here, what is the secret? The cat. Let the cat out of the bag. Please disclose the secret. Please say the secret. Disclose it. Reveal it. Okay. Let me give you an example. Don't let the cat out of the bag because we planned a surprise party. Don't let the cat out of the bag because we planned a surprise party. So please don't reveal, don't disclose the secret. Don't let the cat out of the bag. Is that clear, students? So what's the idiom? Let the cat out of the bag. This is the idiom we learned today. Are you all ready for our today's class? Let's learn the poem. The title of the poem is The Sower. What is meant by sowing? You all know what is meant by sowing, right? The sower. Who is the sower here? Who will sow? The farmers, right? Okay. The sower. So the sower refers to the farmer. And by looking at the title itself, you can understand what this poem is about. This poem is completely about farmers, farming, agriculture. What is the condition of the farmers today in our nation? Can we live without food? God has created each one of us in this world. And what are the basic necessities for us to survive in this world? We need food, we need clothing, and we need shelter. So, for food, we are always depending on the farmers. Farmers are not only sowing the seeds, not only nurturing, but they are nurturing the human life without food can we live? Just think, for a whole day you are not taking any food, then what will happen? Surely you will be sick, right? So food is very essential for each and every living creatures. Even plants need food, animals need food, newborn baby need food, old grandparents need food, right? So each and every living creatures need food. Without food, can anybody survive in this world? No. So food is very essential. We are not recognizing or we are not respecting the farmers nowadays. If I say I am a farmer, do we respect them? No. He is a farmer. If I say I am a doctor or I am a scientist, people will praise you. But if I say I am a farmer, nobody will give due respect to the farmers. Why? Without farmers, there is nothing. The world is completely depending on the farmers. But are we give respect to them? Are we at least understand their needs or requirements? No. Can we produce food for ourselves? Rice or wheat, vegetables, fruits. For the morning breakfast we are eating a breakfast, and for that we need a lot many spices. Spices and also fruits, vegetables, milk, everything we need. And who are rearing these? Only the farmers. So even a rich or a poor both need food. A beggar also need food. A person who is the topmost or the richest person in the world also need food. If I have money, can I eat? Can I eat the money, the currency notes? No. If I have gold coins or silver coins in my home, can I eat? No. Each and everybody in this world need food to eat. So for that we need farmers. So this particular poem, the sower is explaining or describing the hard work of a farmer. Are you all ready to listen how the poem is going on? And before that, let me tell you who is the poet. Torodutt. Torodutt is the poet of the poem The Sower. Okay? Let's learn something about Torodutt and then read the poem and I'll explain you what is there in the poem. Okay? Now take your textbook. Charulata Datta, popularly known as Torodutt, was the first Indian poet to write in French. So she is the first Indian poet who wrote in French language. Okay? So Torodutt, her full name is Charulata Datta and she is popularly known as Torodutt. She was the first Indian poet who wrote in French language. Hailing from a liberal family, she was an extraordinarily gifted girl. She was an extraordinary gifted girl like you people. Okay, you're all gifted children. In the same way, Torodutt is also a gifted child. She received lessons in art, music, history and language. A born linguist, she was well versed in 4 languages. She was well versed in 4 languages. As a child, she spent time reading books in French, German and English. So, from her childhood itself, she had the habit of reading books. Do you all have the habit of reading books? Reading maketh a full man. Am I right? Okay. So, she read books in French, German and English. She learnt about Indian mythology from her mother. Have you all heard about myths? So, So a collection of myths in a region, in a particular religion or in a particular region or in a particular nation. It is called mythology, a collection of myths. So she learned about Indian mythology. We can say Mahabharata, Ramayana are the Indian mythologies. So she learned everything from her mother. This knowledge was rendered in ancient ballads of Hindustan. So she has written a work called Ancient Ballads of Hindustan, and there we can find the Indian mythologies. She has mentioned more about Indian mythologies in this work, Ancient Ballads of Hindustan. A Chef Glenned in French Fields is a collection of French poems she translated into English. So she translated these French poems into English. As she is familiar with French language, German language and English language, it's very easy for her to translate. Okay. Although she died at a very young age, she has left behind a remarkable collection of prose and poetry. She died at very young age. Although she died at the very young age, she made a remarkable footprint in Indian literature. Alright, that's all about Torolata Datta. Okay.
The Sower by Torolata Datta. Sitting in a porchway cool, sunlight I see dying fast. Twilight hastens on to rule. Working hours have well nigh passed. Shadows run across the lands, but a sower lingers still. Old in rags, he patient stands. Looking on, I feel a thrill. Black and high, his silhouette dominates the furrows deep. Now to sow the task is set. Soon shall come a time to reap. Marches he along the plain, to and fro, and scatters wide. From his hands the precious grain. Muse I as I see him stride. Darkness deepens, fades the light. Now his gestures to mine eyes are august and strange. His height seems to touch the starry skies.
Look at the first stanza. Sitting in a porchway cool, sunlight I see dying fast. Twilight hastens on to rule. Working hours have well nigh passed. Sitting on a porchway cool. Here, a girl is looking at a farmer and she is writing this poem. And this girl is sitting in the porchway. What is meant by porchway? Porchway is the entrance, roofed entrance of a house. Here you can see in the picture, page number 109, you can see a girl is sitting in the porchway, in the entrance, in the veranda. Okay. We used to say the car porch, and that area, the entrance of the house. There she is sitting in an evening time. Sunlight I see dying fast. Sunlight is dying. The light is dimming. Okay. The light is dying fast. Twilight hastens on to rule. Working hours have well nigh passed. Twilight hastens on to rule. What is meant by hasten? It is ready. It is willing to rule. And it's time for the twilight to rule. So hasten means it is hurrying. It is eagerly waiting. It is urging. Quickly twilight time is coming. The sunlight is going away. Now it is dim and dark. Twilight time has come. It is waiting. It is awaiting, or it is urging. Okay. Quickly the twilight time has come to rule. The time here mentioned may be around 6 to 7. Working hours have well nigh passed. Well nigh means almost has gone. Okay, working hours of a day is maybe from morning 6 o'clock to evening 5 or 6. Now that time had passed. Okay, so here a girl is sitting in the entrance of her house. She is looking at the sky. The sunlight is very dim and dull. Twilight time has come. It quickly came to rule, and the working hours of the day had almost passed. Next, shadows run across the land. Shadows, darkness. Darkness is coming, but a sower lingers still. Lingers, L-I-N-G-E-R-S, is lingers. Pronounce lingers, lingers. So here a sower is lingers still, working for a long time. Who is working for a long time here? A sower, a farmer is working for a long time. Old in rags, he patient stands. Looking on, I feel a thrill. So the girl is looking at the farmer, at the sower, and he wore rag cloths, very old, and what is meant by rag? It's a very old cloth. So he is wearing old clothes, and this girl feels thrill when he look at the sower. So here in the second stanza she is saying that shadows run across. Now shadows, darkness is coming. Okay, and the time, the working hours had passed already, but still a man, a sower, a farmer is working very hard even in this time. Okay, and he is wearing old clothes, and he is patiently standing there, and he is doing his works. This makes me to feel thrilled. Look at the next stanza. Black and high, his silhouette dominates the furrows deep. Now to sow the task is set. Soon shall come a time to reap. Silhouette, silhouette. Okay, silhouette. Black and high, his silhouette dominates the furrows deep. Silhouette. How can we write silhouette? It's like silhouette. Okay? Silhouette. What is the meaning of silhouette? The dark outline or shape of a person seen against the light background. Here, black and high. Now we can see the shadow of the farmer on the land, on the farm. Now in this time we can see the shadow, right? After the twilight time, the darkness came, and by this time we can see the shadow. Here the girl is saying, black and high, his silhouette, the dark shadow of the person, of the farmer, dominates the furrows deep. What is meant by furrow? A plowed land and is ready to sow. So a plowed land. So this particular land is completely filled with the long, large, dark shadow of the farmer. Now to sow the task is set. Now it's time to sow on the farmland. Okay. Soon shall come a time to reap. Now we are sowing the seeds. In future, after few months we can reap it. We will get yield from the land. So soon shall come a time to reap. We can reap from the land. Marches he along the plain, to and fro, and scatters wide. From his hands the precious grain, muse I, and I see him stride. Marches he along the plain. He is walking to and fro on the land, on the plowed land, to sow the seeds. From his hands the precious grain. What he is sowing? The precious grain. So grains are very precious. They are precious than gold and diamond, rubies and other gems. So precious gems, valuable grains. So he is sowing the precious grains, the seeds. Muse I, and I see him stride, and I am looking at him and I am thinking, I can see the person who is stride. Stride means walk with long steps. He is walking with long steps, because if I am standing in a particular place, if I sow like this, what will happen? So he has to walk with long steps and he has to sow the seed. Darkness deepens. Next answer. Darkness deepens. Fades the light. Now, the darkness, the shadow, the darkness is deepened, which means it's almost night time. Okay. Fades the light. Now, it completely vanishes the light of the day. Now, his gestures to mine eyes are august. August means majestic. Okay, August is not the month here. August means majestic, respectable. So in the eyes of this girl, the farmer is looking so majestic, so respectable. Okay, or august and strange. His height seems to touch the starry skies. The height of the farmer or the sower is almost touching the starry skies. In the shadow, his appearance or his gesture looks very large, right? Already we have learned in the previous stanza. So now this girl is saying, to my eyes, or I can see a large figure, and that shadow is almost touching the starry skies. So here the point is describing the beauty of the evening time, the twilight time, and also the arrival of the night. Here the major thing is how the farmers are dedicating their life to feed us. Okay, they are nurturing our humanity or human life. Human lives are nurtured by farmers, not by money or not by anything else. Okay. As a student, what is your role and how can you give importance to the farmers? As a small kids, even if you don't waste your food, that itself gives a respect to farmers, right? So please don't waste food. Alright students? So in this poem, Torodet is explaining the dedication, the hard work of the farmers, how they dedicated themselves to feed us. Okay? She also describes the evening, twilight, night time in the poem, The Sower. Is that clear? I hope you all enjoyed the poem. Read the poem once again and you will get more ideas about the poem. Okay? See you all in the next class, students. Until, take care. Thank you.
The Sower by Tarulata Datta. Sitting in a porchway cool, sunlight I see dying fast. Twilight hastens on to rule. Working hours have well nigh passed. Shadows run across the lands, but a sower lingers still. Old in rags, he patient stands. Looking on, I feel a thrill. Black and high, his silhouette dominates the furrows deep. Now to sow the task is set. Soon shall come a time to reap. Marches he along the plain, to and fro, and scatters wide. From his hands the precious grain. Muse I, as I see him stride. Darkness deepens, fades the light. Now his gestures to mine eyes are august and strange. His height seems to touch the starry skies.